Hi, Tefl-Dude here. Now today I'm going to show you how we can move our Mac Mini onto our iPad and use it while we're at work. That's the whole intention of this video. And not only can you put it on your iPad, you can see here I've also got a Surface Pro, which is a Windows model, and you can actually put it on there as well. And in fact, here's the real kicker. To mirror it to my Surface Pro, I don't have to pay any money. But unfortunately, for the desktop app to be on your iPad, you have to pay about, I think it's about €15 or $15 or £15. But it's not a lot of money, and that's a perpetual license, so you never have to pay it again. And it really is worth it. There's no lag. It's superb. Let's get on to how we should do it. Now I've broken this video down into 5 parts. The first part, we're going to download Jump Desktop, which is the Magic app, onto both the iPad and the Surface Pro. In part 2, we're going to download and install it onto the Mac Mini, because that's going to be the machine that sends its signal out to those devices. In part 3, we're going to activate that connection, and you're going to see how well it looks on the iPad and the Surface Pro. Now in part 4, we're going to improve the resolution on our devices. So there are 2 apps you can choose, Better Display app, or you can choose SwitchResX. Now I'm going to download and use Better Display first to show you how it looks on the iPad and Surface Pro. And then I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to show you what SwitchResX looks like. Now, like I said, you can keep both apps or you can just keep one. They work fine independently of each other. In part 5, I just want to show you how it works on a projector when you're at work, and how you can make it work on the iPad where you do the pinch zoom. Well, that's not going to happen unless you click a few buttons in the Jump Desktop app. So with that done, let's download it onto our respective devices. So here in part 1, we're going to download the apps. First, let's move on to the iPad, and here I'm going to click. I do have a little mouse, by the way. Actually, I have this keyboard which has a pad I can use, and I'm going to do a video on this on a later date. So let's go to the iPad store and type in Jump Desktop and simply download it. Now, as I mentioned, you would have to pay, but it's not a lot of money, and it's a perpetual license. I will allow. Oh, there's a new Jump Desktop app. That's good to know. Done. Okay, so there we are. And now we're just waiting for the Mac Mini to create it, and it will appear here on our iPad. Let's move over to the Surface Pro and do it there as well. So go onto the website, type in Jump Desktop, go to the first one. So hopefully it'll be the first one you go to. There should be a blue background and a white cloud with a red man in the middle. Click on that and just go straight to download. Remember, it's all free. Now, we want to receive, so therefore it says, do you want to use this device to gain access to another machine? I do. So we want to click on this one on the left, not the one on the right. So we're making it a viewer for window. Now it's downloaded there, and I'll just go to my downloads folder. And you can see I've already downloaded it numerous times. I'm going to double click it. And I'll say use for everybody because I don't really care. Just put next. Accept the license fee. Next. Install. Say yes. Okay, and there you can see now it is ready and waiting for the Tosh Mac Mini. So that's part 1 done. We've downloaded it onto our respective devices. Now let's go to part 2 and download it onto our Mac Mini. Okay, so here we are in part 2, and we're going to install it onto our Mac Mini. And this time when you go to the website, there it is, jumpdesktop.com. You want to be clicking on this white area. I want to set up this machine for remote access from another. Do you want to allow downloads? Yes. There's a lot of allowing on this, this kind of app. You have to allow it for access to obviously manipulate the desktop. Now, it went into my downloads folder here. So let's go over to our downloads folder proper. And I'm simply going to double click. Now, simply double click this and go through the steps. Continue, continue, agree. There's a lot of agreeing in here. Use password. I'm going to use it on my watch. Okay, now we still need to set it up for remote access. Continue. And now you see there's 2 items popped up, one in the top right corner and one on the middle. We will have to do both. So let's do this first. This one here, open system settings. And it says a screen system recording that we allow it to do that. So we're going to say yes. Once again, password. And quit and reopen. We'll do that. Let's quit and reopen. Normally it quits and reopens itself. Continue, and it says screen recording is allowed. So let's continue again. And I'll probably just be double checking this. Open the system preferences. And it says allow this to control your computer. Yes, you do want that. Otherwise, there's no point being here. Okay, let's click off that. And it says everything is granted. We click continue. Again, I'm going to click this just to check. It says allow the desktop connect. Yes, allow. Okay, continue. Request microphone access. I guess. I realize I've got a microphone plugged in there. Allow it access. And continue. And close. And everything is done. Now, I'll just go to this one on the top right because I think this is just about allowing it to join when you log in. So here I can add it. You would have to add it yourself if you want it to open as soon as you log in. I don't. I'm quite happy working at home. It's only occasionally I go to work and I will just turn it on. I will just say, let's use Jump Desktop. So you don't need to do this, but if you do want to, just click on this plus icon here, go to the application, find your Jump Desktop app here and click allow. But I'm going to cancel that because I don't really care. So now we're almost ready. We're almost ready. Let's move away here. I'm going to click on something else here. Open up system settings again. And this time remote desktop. Make sure you do click this. Again, use password. Quit and reopen again. Like I said, there's a lot of agreeing and accepting. And now it's come back again. Everything is fine. Remote desktop has been allowed. And it says here, installation was successful. Close. And you could move it to the bin or keep it. I'll keep it. I don't know why. Prosperity, maybe. Now, the next step is going to make it all happen. So I can get rid of this. Let's close out these windows. You can even get rid of this arrow thing here, this installator thing. We don't need it. What's going to make the magic happen is when you click the receiver here. So let's move this. Add a remote access user. This is the key. And we have to sign in with the web browser. Now you can choose yourself or give remote access to someone else. This is just for me and my team. And I'm going to actually sign in with my Apple because it's a lot more, I don't know, it's a lot easier than just making up an email and all this. If you're mega paranoid, then you shouldn't be doing this anyway. I'm going to sign in with Apple. And I'm going to sign in with password, I guess. And I'm going to double click my watch again. That's my password. And we're in. Now, this is the part where I'm going to stop because this is where part 2 kind of ends. Because as soon as I click this, it's going to appear on both devices. But at the moment, I've got both devices on. So I'm going to pause here, turn my iPad and Surface Pro on with those X's all awaiting, and you'll see them arrive. So in this part 3, once I click on this, it's going to connect to the iPad and Surface Pro, but we do have to do 1 or 2 things first to set it up. First, check the iPad. If you have just recently downloaded it, make sure here on Manage Account, make sure that you sign in with your Apple ID or whichever ID you want, and then you'll be ready. So if I sign in with my Apple ID, I believe I'm signed in already. And I'm ready to go. I can go back here and I'm done. So once I press that button, it will appear here. Also, with the Surface Pro, I have to sign in here as well. Sign in with my Apple. But once I've done this, it will remain forever. It will remember it. I just click continue. And then you can see this name here at the top, SCJ something. That is going to be the logo or the name of the Mac Mini that's coming in. So now when I click go, you'll see them appear on those 2 tablets. So I'm going to click Tefl-Dude, and there you just saw them both appear. How magic is that? And now we're ready. Once we tap them, it will disappear from the main monitor and it will appear on the iPad. However, before we do that, there is one more program you have to download, and it's called Amphetamine. And what it does, it stops your computer from turning itself off. So go to the App Store for this. And type in the word amphetamine. And then simply press enter. And you can see I've already downloaded it before. It is a free app. That's what's nice about it. So let's go to our app area and simply double click it. I can say don't show this window again because the next time I run it, I don't want to go through this again. Now to activate it, you simply right click it. If you left click it, you get all this detail, but you don't need that. Just right click it, and when it goes to the vertical line instead of horizontal, vertical means it's locked. And it will stay that way until you come home and unlock it. So it will stay on and your computer won't go to sleep. Now Now's the time to click our iPads. Now watch it disappear from the computer. So I'll use my mouse to click on this. Yes, I do have to put the password in. And you can click save the password. That saves you having to do it every time. So there it is, just like magic. Now, it's quite large. It's not so bad. But as you notice when I zoom in, it is quite blurry. Now, to get rid of that blur, this is only on the iPad. You have to go up to these three dots, and the size isn't that bad. You're left with a bit of room at the top and bottom, but go to these three dots. This box here, by the way, will be useful later when you're connecting to monitor if you want to use that. That's why there's nothing there. So scroll down. Now you can lock the screen. That means no one can use it at home. No one can connect to your Mac Mini while you're away. We can do that. Why not? Mainly you want to change the resolution. And you can see here Retina resolution is off. Watch what happens to the resolution. Click apply. And look at that. Okay, it's a bit over large, you might say, but it is very, very crisp and very, very clean. And all we have to do now is to find some way to shrink that size to a smaller size, but we can't do it with what we've got here. We will need to download an app called Better Display, and it's really good. I've only just learned how good it is, and it makes me regret saying that I'm going to show you SwitchResX, but they're both as good as each other. You might prefer one than the other, but I found the magic key to using Better Display. So no one's ever explained it this way. Believe me, you're going to learn something good. So I'll show you quickly on my Surface Pro. So I'm going to switch off here. Okay, so in order to go back to your computer, you have to turn it off. Click here, this red item, and just disconnect. Now you may have to do this twice. So if you say OK and it connects back, don't worry, just do it again and click the other button. Doesn't matter which button you use. So it's off here. And I have to put in the password for that as well. Click enter. And there it is. It's not that clear. There is a magic button in order to make it fill the screen, and that is Control, Alt, and F11. And there you can see it just went really large. Press enter. And you can see my computer is still awake. So even though I needed to put the code in, it didn't switch off because of that amphetamine button. It's not sharp, but we will see that increase when we use one of those apps, either Better Res or SwitchResX. I know SwitchResX does a very good job. We'll see if Better Res does as well. So like on the iPad, simply click on the red button to go back to the monitor. And like I said, if it doesn't do it the first time, don't worry. Just this time, click the other button, click dismiss, and it's there. So now I can show you here my Mac Mini. Because I'm using OBS, I have to deactivate it, then activate it again. And there it is, back on the screen. So that's part 3 done. We've connected to the apps, and now we have to make that resolution stronger. And we're going to do this in part 4, download Better Display app and SwitchResX. Here we are on the Mac Mini. We've typed in Better Display in your web browser, and just go to the GitHub one. There is another one further down. I've not used that one. I think it's the very same thing. I'm just going to click on this. There is a paid for version, but we're going to go with the free version, which you're allowed for 14 days if you want the Pro, but we don't want it at all. Go here, the latest version. We'll click here and scroll down until you get to the DMG file, which is here, DMG 4.1.5. Yes, I allow downloads. Once it's there, we can close this out and go to our downloads file. And here you've got better display. Let's now install that. Double click. And you simply drag it into the applications area and it's there. You can close off this. You can remove this. Don't need it. And close this. Now simply go to your apps and there it sits, better display. Let's double click and get this ball rolling. Once again, there's a lot of accepting and allowing of stuff. Open up system settings and accessibility. Yes, we want it to have access. Use password. Click on my watch. That's that done. Close out. Let's have a look at what's in the top right corner. Better display notification. Let's click that one first. Allow notifications if you like, if you don't like. And now this one. Now, do you want it to log in when you log in? You can leave it. It's up to you. I would take it away, but let's leave it for now. It doesn't matter. Okay, so here you can see this app is really good. You can make the display smaller or larger, but this top area is only for the monitor display. It's not for the iPad app. That comes at the bottom when we make a virtual display. One thing I want to open up actually before we go there is the display settings, because we're going to create a virtual display and I want you to see it, join it really. So here is our display settings and you can see there's just the cam link at the moment. So I'm going to press my iPad now. We're going to join the iPad and we're going to go into these app settings and create a virtual screen to make the size look really cool. Okay, so here we are. Now, if you don't see it, this thing that I'm seeing now, because the screen is so large, you might not be able to see it. If for some reason you've clicked here or something, then I can't see that icon anymore. So maybe with the screen display open, change it to this setting, which is still large, and now I can see that little TV. So let's go down here and go to our settings. And here you can see Pro, the timer's on. So we want to go here, Advanced Settings, Privacy, and turn off the licensing. Otherwise, after 14 days, it's going to say, you must pay now. We don't need to pay. We don't need the license option. We've got enough power to get what we want. So go to display and you can see all there is the cam link here. We're going to create another one. Create new virtual screen. Now I'd advise you, whatever iPad you've got, to make sure that you get the right dimensions. Ask what are the settings. My iPad settings are this one at the bottom, the iPad Pro 11. So we'll click on that and create a virtual screen. And you can see it's created. Notice though, once I click this button to connect, it will appear here. Now I can click connect here, or I can always just click here. And now you can see, while this area was for my monitor originally, it still kind of works for this monitor, but only in the size of the monitor's ratio. What we want to do is we've got this other arrow down here for our virtual one. So I'm going to click this on and watch a screen appear on the left. Ta-da! And now it's called this like a second screen. So this is screen 1, virtual. And now we're on that, we can get the size we want. And now what we need to do is go to this main display area and click mirror the virtual display. This is where the magic happens. And look at that. Now don't worry it's gone so small. Just go right to the top corner and go to the bottom cursor bar and just move it as far to the left as you can. And now we can move it slowly in increments. This, for me, is the next best one to have, because when you look at documents, you can read them, it's nice and big, it fills your screen. However, if you're working on a monitor, maybe you want to make it a little smaller, like this. This is the next best one. And with this, you get a lot more real estate, you can open more apps, see things, probably good for connecting to a projector. And it's still HD. Look at this. I've zoomed in. How awesome is that? And that is all with better display without having to pay. Oh, I'm a poet and I didn't know it. Now let's move over to the Surface Pro and see if we get joy there as well. Now let's join on the Surface Pro and see if there's any difference there. Okay. So I think the ratio on here is 3:2. I might want to change that resolution in better display to 3:2. So if I go up here and I can turn off this virtual display, I'm going to go to these settings, discard this display, and just create a new one. And I know that my Surface Pro is a 3:2 ratio, so it's this one. So let's see if it creates a nice one for me there. So I'll click on. See what's on here. Okay, so I've got it on the 15:10 ratio now. Let's see what happens if I change the screen sizes. Okay. So as you can see, I've got some nice results. It looks very good visually as I'm looking at it rather than recording it on the screen. But I am going to go back to the Mac Mini and we're going to download SwitchResX, and I'm going to go straight onto the Surface Pro first, and then I'm going to go onto the iPad to see if it's good there as well. So just type in SwitchResX, and it's the first one. It's also kind of a GitHub app, but there's a website called madrao.com, and I went there to get it. Click on the download and download the latest version. This also is an app you can pay for if you want to collect lots and lots of different resolutions. But it does give you 2 free resolutions, but then a plethora of other resolutions as well, as you'll see. Once again, in our downloads folder, we just simply double click it and install it. Now, one thing I want you to notice before I do this, I want to open the display app here. And you'll notice if I scroll to the bottom, there's nothing here. It just says keyboard, printer, nothing else. Should say mouse, don't know why. But watch what happens when I open it. It's going to create a SwitchResX screen at the bottom that'll live there kind of permanently. Open. Install for this user only. And you see it created it there at the bottom on the left hand side in the system settings. Put in the password. Now hopefully, like me, you've already checked with ChatGPT what are the best resolutions for you. And they're around 1500 to 1300. That's what I've found. And I've got those exact numbers for the Surface Pro. Now once you open it here, click on Camlink and go to Custom Res. So we're going to create a custom res. However, it's grayed out. We can't do it because what you have to do, and even the current res, there's none there. What we have to do is go to About Switch and here install Helper Tool. Add in the password. Now once that tool has been made, if we go back, you'll see there's a plus icon here. I can create my own resolution. Let's have a look at current resolutions. They're not there yet, but they will populate in a minute. So I'm going to add my own. Let's go to scaled resolution. And the one I want for the Surface Pro, I'll put the numbers in. So my first one is 1564 1043. And I'm going to add another one, 1368 912. So we'll say OK. Notice it says not saved. So all you have to do is click the red X and then click save. And it will ask you to restart the computer in order to show you all those resolutions. So let's just do that quickly. Okay, so we're back in. Let's open up the system settings. And instead of going to display, we go right to the bottom, SwitchResX. And up pops this. Go to Camlink at the bottom. And you'll see our custom res are active. So in the current resolutions, all of those in the middle here, HIDPI, they're high definition res. So any of those will make our screen look superb. Have a look. Now, it's a good idea to click this to show the best resolutions for the display you're in. Also, I'm going to click resolutions so that they run from top to bottom. So I know which ones, I know where the numbers are. Okay, so it's all ready to go. Let's just join on our Surface Pro. Now you'll notice it will disappear from the monitor as usual. Okay, now let's see if we get any joy here. It was 1368, but I can't see it. Oh, there it is. So this is supposed to fill out the screen properly. Ooh, that did. That zipped out. And if I look at it now, it looks really clear. Believe me, I'm very, very impressed. So that's it for the Surface Pro. Now I want to see if these work on the iPad as well. So I'm going to close off here and go on to the iPad. Okay, now I'm going to switch on the iPad. And wow, it looks really sharp. I remember the 1600 by 900 was very good. If you wanted it letterbox like, and you had high def. Okay, now I'm going to try the 1310. That's quite nice, and that's quite sharp. A little bit left on the right and left, but as you zoom in, you do have really good scaling. So as you can see, better display was better for the iPad, SwitchResX was better for the Surface Pro. And now I'm going to show you how it looks on both of them when you connect it to a projector at school or something, and how with the iPad you can do that pinch zoom. Okay, so over to that part of the video. Now this is the Surface Pro connected to the projector, and you can see it's got a good screen. Just to prove it is my Surface Pro Windows, you can see there's my Windows 11, and I'll do the magic keys in order to make it full screen. And there you can see the full screen, and it looks pretty neat. Look at that, that's really sharp, and it's projecting on the projector anything I do. I'll show you by bringing up a document here. And if I double click it, now because it's a narrow size, you may want to put the dock on the left side instead of at the bottom. But as you can see, you can use the pen and you can write, and it goes on the board at the same time it goes on the screen. I'll just do a quick zoom in to show you that it looks really nice on both items. So that's the Surface Pro. So now let's look at the iPad. Okay, now I want to show you what happens when we plug the iPad in. Now it looks quite large, but don't go trying to change the resolution yet. Watch what happens when I plug it in. See, it changes the resolution on the screen and on the iPad to fit better. In fact, all I've got is a little bit at the top missing and a large bit at the bottom missing, but the sides are perfect. The screen is perfect. It looks really good. And if I just look at, say, a document, let's open a document. It's really nice, very clear. Probably you could leave it at that. But if you zoom, if I wanted to zoom in here with my fingers, it doesn't replicate that on the screen. It does not do that. So if you did want to zoom into something and focus on it, the only way to do that is if you click here and you go to this TV screen here. This is all belonging to Jump Desktop. Click Mirror Display. This doesn't show unless you're connected to something. Okay, so now on Mirror Display, it's gone a bit too large. Just go back to SwitchResX and fix that. So let's move out of here. Remember, you can find it by just going to the system settings, scrolling down to SwitchResX, and then CamLink, or whatever your monitor's called. Now I'm going to choose a resolution 1076. Let's see what happens there. Okay, that's quite nice. Let's have a look at the document I've got. So that's better. I prefer it tall with a bit missing on the right and left. And now I can actually zoom in with my fingers. And look at that, it does exactly the same on the screen. So if you want a bit more control, that's what you have to do. Remember, you can also still use your magic pen. So if we go here to drawings, get our pencil, I can write with the mouse, but I can also write with my magic pencil. I'm not left-handed, as you can tell. So there you have it. Both the Surface Pro and the iPad using a projector, and it works perfectly seamlessly and there's no lag.